Well, we've had an amazing day so far here at the Secondary School Championships, but we're not just done on day one. We've still got two amazing games coming up on the live stream. First up, we've got St Mary's College versus St Andrews College. That's AA Girls Pool A. And then A Girls Pool B, we've got Te Kura Otakotu up against Aquinas College. We look forward to bringing you those live. Welcome back here to Fly Palmy Arena for the third game of day one. St Mary's up against St Andrews. Andrew Horrocks up alongside Ryan Doubledam, former University of Hawaii women's assistant coach. Ryan, it's great to have you back. How have you found it so far on day one?
Yeah, it's been really good to see these teams out, especially after the last 2 years where we haven't had any basketball for this age group. So it's really awesome to see everyone out competing and some good basketball along with it.
We caught up with Stack assistant coach Tessa Boagni pre-game. Let's see what she had to say. I'm here with Tessa Boagni. Tessa, you won in 2013. What's it like being back?
It's definitely a surreal feeling. I never thought I'd come back to the stadium. I didn't have any reason to, but it's so cool being back here and just seeing the next generation of ballers. Like, I remember the nerves and the excitement of tournament and seeing the opening ceremony and all the teams. It brought all the memories back. So it was real cool being back.
So we had our first season this year of the Women's Tauihi League. What's it like, not only just playing in that, but also getting to see the next generation as you talked about?
Yeah, I think on it, like, just even some of the girls here already have come up to me and been like, you played in the league, like I watched it on TV. And so to be able to know that we're already influencing the next generation and the players that hopefully in a few years they'll be playing in it, I think is so cool. And just for them to be able to have that league and to then see their role models here at this tournament, I think it's so cool. And you know, my team Stack, they've been amazing. They came to my games. We scrimmaged against them. Some of them came to our training. So for them to have the league to aspire to now is wicked. Because when I was playing, it was going overseas and that was it. But now they know there's something here in New Zealand they can do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time and good luck for your game.
No problem. Thank you.
Always great to hear what one of the current stars of our Tour Ferns has to say, and also great to see that she's giving back to the high school game. So let's run through the team list. First for St Mary's College, number 12, Tyra Onesemo. 13, Brooklyn Jacobs. 21, Zoe Muir-Clark. 22, Dylan Asi Alamoana. 23, Malani Kinney. 24, Tali Samuelu. 25, Mikey Cartanet. 30, Kristana Leota. 31, Ailani Penesi. And 32, Tyra Samuelu. Head coach Philip Onesemu. And then for St Andrews College, number 1, Natasha Lind. Number 2, Ruby Bainan. Number 4, Ophelia Powell. Number 5, Rafferty Powell. 6, Maddie Morrow. 7, Angelique Duig. 9, Molly Morrow. 10, Charlotte Seddon. 11, Kavanagh Lene. 13, Karere Atua Williams. 15, Alice Sharp. Head coach, Adam Morgan. Right, Ryan, we were talking before air about some of the players that have got international calibre talent within these two teams. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, so St Andrews is fortunate enough to have 2 New Zealand representatives. Maddie Morrow on the recent Junior Tour Ferns Under-18 trip to India where they placed 6th, and Karere Atua Williams spent a month away in New Zealand from overseas where we competed in the Asian Cup in Jordan, and then we went to the World Cup in Hungary, and we were fortunate enough to place 12th.
Looking forward to seeing those players in action, not too far away. Just the form guide thus far for these two teams. For St Mary's, just played the one game, lost to Rangiora 65-51. They placed 4th in Zone 3 and were the 2017 AA National Champions. For St Andrews, they beat Mount Maunganui College 74-51. They were first in Zone 4 and in 2019 placed 18th, but it feels like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
It's a long time ago, and by all accounts, Stack are one of the teams to beat here in the girls' competition. So St Mary's might have their work cut out for them.
From everyone you've got to see thus far, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, what do you reckon of the teams to beat from what you've watched?
St Peter's are always there or thereabouts, so they are one of the must-watch teams. Unfortunately, I haven't seen Westlake play, but they have a couple of international players as well. So I think those two, along with Stack, are certainly out to prove a point, and then we'll see if there are any dark horses that come out of the pack that maybe could tip one of these teams up in the quarters or semi-finals once we get there.
Always love a dark horse. I especially love the addition of the prelim quarterfinal that they added a few years ago. Now it just feels like a couple iterations ago, but if you've got a tough pull, if you come third, that second bite at the cherry, it can come up pretty clutch.
Yeah, it allows for, if you have one bad game in pool play, that you still have a chance that you can get out of your pool into the bracket you want to get to.
Right, the Kautakaro are ready to go. The poto has been tossed and we are underway here in the girls AA match. St Mary's up against St Andrews. It could be St Mary's that have the ball to start here. Can't feed the high post, and away comes Stack.
Maddie Morrow, she's a shooter. That's why she made the New Zealand Junior Tour Ferns.
With the Korofifi Toru early, and it was a good looking shot as well. I don't know about you, Ryan, but it's always good anytime you've got players of this age group that can hit the three consistently. It's going to go a long way.
Yeah, regardless of gender, if you can get a few shooters out in the court, it certainly opens up the floor for the rest of your teammates.
As Leota there with the drive and finish. And looks like a bit of a 1-2-2 zone, or more of a 2-3 there for St Mary's. But
I think Stack won't mind that a bit with a couple of shooters on the court.
Well, we've already seen the two Korofifi Toru attempts, as we now see a Toru. And the offensive rebound there.
Zones are notoriously hard to rebound out of, so it'll be interesting to see how long or how much success St Mary's have here.
So with the utilisation of a zone, what would a team be looking to get out of a 2-3 zone?
They're basically trying to protect the paint. They're happy to live with their outside shots, but as I said, they're really hard to rebound out of. So if you can rebound well out of them, then they're effective. But if you can't rebound well and the other team can shoot it a bit, then you might find yourself in a bit of trouble.
No good on the Korofifi Toru attempt. Turapa for St Andrews. Drive, and there's that rim protection that we were talking about just before. Another Korofifi Toru attempt. Rebound Leota, and away comes St Mary's, but there's the turnover.
Maddie Morrow for the turnover in the backcourt. Another 2 points for St Andrews.
Anytime you can get an uncontested kudu whakao, it makes life a little bit easier for you. Advantage Stack early, and that is a tough look. And great finish there from Onesimo. And St Mary's, though, they're getting to the hoop early, and that's going to help them, as we see a great back screen there to get the shooter over. Morrow again with another Korofifi Toru attempt. No good, and Tarapa, it's going to be St Mary's ball.
She's certainly getting them up early, Maddie Morrow. It's 4 shots in the first 2.5 minutes.
It's always pleasing, isn't it, as a shooter, when you see a zone that you can find the weak points of.
Yeah, Maddie will certainly be looking to hit a few more of those as the game progresses, and hope that St Mary's stay in the zone.
As we see an early hara there on St Mary's. Looks like it was called on number 30, Leota. And away come St Andrews. Another wide open Korofifi Toru attempt. And away come St Mary's. Great dish off and back That one is long, and the tūrapa goes to St Andrews.
Nice pass by Karibiato Williams.
Beautiful for the easy kuru whakao, and it's been noticeable how players are actually making the extra pass a lot more. They're not just trying to go up against defenders, they're trying to find open players and get a much easier look.
It's a smart basketball, and Coach Adam Morgan will be happy with the extra pass for the wide open look.
No good. Here come St Andrews in transition. And you wonder, just look at the way that St Mary's are getting back in transition, if they can get the ball a little bit wider, with the players they've got running through the middle, there could be a nice wide open layup attempt.
100%. If they can't get these threes to keep dropping, they might have to look inside a bit more often.
Vanessa there with the tough look, and good floater for Williams.
Unlucky not to get the foul call there. I thought the defender got a piece of her arm, but we play on.
Well, who do you reckon initiated the contact in that one?
Well, I think the defence was coming down there and grabbed the arm.
Fair enough.
Some good pressure there by Charlotte Seddon to force the turnover.
As we see a few subs early for both teams. I say early, this first quarter has already flown by, halfway through it. Advantage stack 9-4 over St Mary's. It looks a bit more of a 1-2-2 zone as opposed to the 2-3. As we see a great pass there for the kuru whakao.
Yeah, nice finish by Kavana Lean there.
Nice driving lane, and that is an easy hara to call.
Only the second foul of the quarter, which allows for some free-flowing basketball.
Well, we've got a bit of time to make up, don't we, after the exciting overtime that we actually had before this. Was it Palmerston North boys versus St John's?
Yeah, Palmerston North boys had almost a 20-point lead at the middle of the game, and saw that disappear, and St John's forced overtime and took the crucial victory for what is probably the most competitive pool on the boys' side.
That is, you're right, I think it's Pool B.
But the likes of New Plymouth boys, Hamilton boys, Auckland Grammar, and St Thomas from Christchurch in that pool. So there's going to be some unlucky people who miss out in the top 8. Another offensive rebound here by Stack, and Maddie Murray makes some pay.
Easy tūrapa there, and we're going to have a timeout for St Mary's. So Ryan, putting your coaching hat on here, what does St Mary's need to change to get back into this as we have a look at the replay?
I'd say Coach Onismo will be talking about the rebounds, because unfortunately we don't have stats, but there's at least half a dozen offensive rebounds which are coming off relatively uncontested threes. So they've either let them keep shooting and hope they miss, but they're going to have to clean up the rebounds to stop the second chance points.
I like the point you made earlier where you said it was tough to rebound out of the zone. What are some things that you can do as a team to make it a little bit easier for yourselves?
I think as soon as a shot goes up, the defending team has to make an effort to go make contact on the offensive player, and those in the 1-2-2, so the 1 and the 2 at the top of the zone has to drop in to help out the 2 that are closer to the basket, so they can all rebound as a team.
And then from St Andrews' point of view, is it more of the same, or are there any adjustments that you reckon they could make?
Just more of the same. They've only given up 4 points in 5 minutes, which Coach Morgan's going to be happy with. They're getting pretty good looks on offense. I'm sure the threes will start dropping eventually, and yeah, they're going pretty good to start. Yeah, so interesting to see what adjustments St Mary's make. Maybe do they get out of the zone here for a few possessions and see if they can change it up on Stack and get a few turnovers for some easy offense, or have to wait a position as St Mary's have the ball right now.
It's always hard, I find, with these 6-day tournaments. You've always got to play an element of zone. I know obviously a very good zone is still very effective at moving around, but compared to full wahine or to wahine defense, it's a little bit of an easier option for your athletes.
Yeah, it's a little less energy exerted on the offenses. It looks like the 2-3 is the adjustment, which may help them rebound slightly better.
Well, you're not going to need many rebounds if they're hitting a Koruwhiwhi toru like that. Nice and simple off the hopu.
Kareri Atua Williams, one of our better shooters, was away with us at the World Champs. Good to see her get on the board.
As we see an offensive foul there.
Coach Adam Morgan fired up to get the turnover.
She just got in a bit of awaha. She interfered with the play, so that's going to get called the other way.
Stack still running the same play versus the change of zone, and it forces a turnover. Nice little stop here for St. Mary's.
As I wanted, couldn't make the hopu, but we found it as well. Another game that we did a live stream for, players running out of the corner as the player was looking to pass, and they just couldn't connect. So, I mean, I don't know, talk to me a little bit about your coaching philosophies. Do you like the player to stay in those situations? Do you like them to cut?
It depends on where the defender's standing. If the defender is a little bit too high and they're ball watching, sometimes it's great for a backdoor cut, but the messaging's got to be consistent so you avoid those kind of turnovers.
Tough look there. And they're going to get the turapa stack.
Game's kind of opened up a bit in the last 45 seconds, which may favour Stack.
Great kurupeke there for Stack. And as you see, the game's just opened up, 20-4 now for them. And another Koruwhiwhi toru, this time for St. Mary's. And if they're going to get themselves back in this game, it's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, hopefully that spark something from Mount St. Mary's and they can cap this lead at 13 and make a little run here. Good deflection.
Tried to make the Maka Tupana there, but it was intercepted. And off the turapa, it's going to be St. Mary's. Let's see what they can conjure up on this offensive possession. Nice little rip and go. Floater, no good. Turapa lands the way of Stack.
St. Mary's switching all the ball screens there, so it's making it difficult for Mount St. Mary's to get in the paint.
Great kick out. No good on the Koruwhiwhi toru. A nice little trap actually there from St. Andrews, and that's going to get the ball out of St. Mary's hands as we have another look at it. Great work there from Powell and Morrow.
Taking your first break.
Now, one of my favourite parts of commentating is always getting to see the different out-of-bounds plays that people run.
Yeah, nice little one there. Bit of fake motion for the inbounder, then that Kareri Atua Williams runs off a nice little down screen and makes some hay.
Beautiful maka paitaha for the Koruwhiwhi toru. Here come St. Mary's. Good ball movement, but they need to get their players into better positions. Pick and roll. Not much of a roll, and somehow comes up with the ball and converts the kuru whakao. And I don't know about you, Ryan, but if the offensive player just rolled a bit harder, it would have been a wide open layup rather than what we saw.
Yeah, Stack's heavy help side, so if they can dive and draw that help side and maybe move the ball around the perimeter and get a secondary drive, that could open things up a bit for Mount St. Mary's.
Great extra pass. Doesn't convert, and away comes St. Mary's out of Wellington on the fast break. Great bounce pass.
Yes.
Good wall up though. And here comes Williams for Stack. Just over 1 minute to play here in quarter number one of this girls' AA Pool A match. Oh, great bounce pass and finish there from Powell to Lynette.
St. Andrews are very patient in the offense when St. Mary's have a chance to set up. They're not trying to force anything, just making the right play at the right time.
Big Koruwhiwhi toru attempt. And the turapa comes for St. Andrews, looking to push it here in transition. Powell And that's going to be 2 free throws there for Ophelia Powell.
The hara.
As we have another look at it. And just a beautiful maka tupana.
This game's been nice and clean so far. Only 4 total fouls with only 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, which is allowing for some really good flowing basketball.
As we see our silent cameraman getting into the kick action. Checking out some of the best shoes that some of our athletes are wearing. I don't know about you, Ryan, but when I was playing, there was probably 3 options you could have at the local Rebel Sport. Now, the stuff that kids can get off the apps and stuff like that, I'm a little bit envious. And that's a pretty easy offensive foul.
Unfortunately there, Talia Samalu left her cylinder, which makes it easy for the referees to call that hara.
Easy call there for the Kaiwa Wow. So, as the clock hasn't started, there's going to be a difference between shot clock and game clock of about 8 seconds. And here come St. Mary's. Jacobs with the dish. And Lynette with the rebound. So, Seddon brings it over halfway.
You can hear Coach Morgan asking the girls to hold it. They want to make sure they take the last shot of the quarter.
Looks like Ophelia Powell is going to be the one who, out of the pick and roll, is going to make some decisions. Finds the roller. Kick out. And is that a... She's going to claim that was a pass.
I tell you what, Coach Morgan would have been happy with the execution with the ball screen, the dive, the collapse of the defence and the kick out 3. And fortunate enough for St Andrews, they crashed the boards well, which they've been doing all quarter and were rewarded.
I think any time you can get yourself a wide open 3-point look, your offense is getting pretty good. I don't know, what words do you use? Do you use dominoes? I know that's quite a buzzword at the moment in the country.
Sometimes just getting an advantage, creating an advantage and maintaining it, whether you want to use lingo or whatever. Everyone's got different sayings for different things, but you just want to create the advantage and try and keep the defense chasing. And Stack, as that quarter went on, did a really good job of getting the ball in the paint, and sometimes they'd take the layup or sometimes they'd kick it out after the defense collapsed.
Quarter number 1 complete here. St Andrews College of Christchurch up 27 over St Mary's of Wellington 9. Ryan, what adjustments have St Mary's got to look at from what you've seen in the first quarter?
I'd really like them to try a bit of man-to-man defense just to see if they can change things up a bit. They've got some girls that look like they could be really physical and they could stop St Andrews getting second chance opportunities. I think, I don't have the stats in front of me, but it feels like a good, probably 8 points was given up from second chance opportunities. If you can get that rebound the first time, maybe get out into some fast breaks from that man-to-man defense and see how that goes.
What about St Andrews? Obviously, they might have their eyes further down the road, given that they came top of their section. Are there any adjustments that you think they might need to make for, say, a quarterfinal or a semi-final that they might want to try, or is it just, what are we doing well, let's keep doing that?
There's potential for them to, I guess, try some type of extended pressure so they get game reps at it if they even need to play catch-up in one of these knockout games. I'm sure Coach Morgan is almost hoping that St Mary's plays a bit of man to see if they can run their plays against the man, because they just keep running the same baseline runner against the 2-3 zone. Interestingly, that St Andrews got top of their zone without Maddie Morrow because she was over in India competing, so they were missing one of their better players and still managed to top their zone.
That's got to be such a nice feeling as a coach to top a zone and then go, we've still got this weapon that we can add to our lineup come crunch time.
If she's not the best shooter here, she'll be one of the better shooters here, so it's certainly a good problem for Coach Morgan to have, winning it and then having the addition of Maddie Morrow.
Right, the Kaitakaro from St Mary's Wellington are ready to go.
Looks like they're straight back into their 2-3 zone.
Yeah, not much deception being thrown out at the moment from the way that they're standing.
Even if they could just match up for like a couple of dribbles and then drop back into the zone, just to give St Andrews something different to look at. Oh, here's a new play that they must have drawn out in the timeout.
Nice little exchange across the top. Not too sure what happened to the exchange there in the high post, but they got the look they wanted. As there's Pau with the Kuruwhiwhi Toru, no good. Tūrapa, same team. Pau decides to try a little makatapana.
I've been really impressed with number 11, Kavana Lin, her rebounding. She's both defensively and offensively all over the place, timing her jumps really well.
I always like as well when they catch the ball and they keep their elbows up and the ball high. Just fundamentally looks right.
Yeah. You bring that down, the small guys are going to knock that thing up straight away.
Lenny apparently got it off in time, but Tūrapa as they throw the ball away. And here come St Andrews once again. Great little skip pass. Pau to the corner. Lenny, Kuruwhiwhi Toru short. Tūrapa, St Mary's, let's see if they can get out and run. They do so. And long little floater layup attempt there.
Brooklyn Jacobs on the board.
But they got what they wanted out of that position. They're going to need a few more of those to get back into this St Mary's. Nice little exchange up the top there for St Andrews. And
so
another offensive Tūrapa, no good.
Now St Mary's are forcing it into some tougher threes here to start this quarter, but can't quite finish off the play with these rebounds.
If they can make one little adjustment up the top, they're trying to keep their top two players to stay on their side. When the players coming across to try and cut it off, the other players need to run on so that when they're making those skip passes and rotating the ball, then they're going to have a lot smoother transitions defensively.
Yeah, clearly the game plan is to give up the threes. Nice little tie up there to force a turnover. Now St Mary's in position.
Right, so here come St Mary's of Wellington. Into a nice little dribble handoff into the pick and roll. Great rip and go to the hoop.
Oh, unlucky. It was a nice little move. It was a nice little action from St Mary's there. If the two on the weak side could space out, then the person turning the corner would have a lot more space to get downhill and make a decision. Maddie Morrow back in the game. And straight away they run the play for it.
The old baseline runner. And again, we just see St Mary's caught with two up the top on the ball. But great trap there in the corner. Rip and go. Here comes St Mary's on the break. Another bounce pass, and we'll see what they come out of the half court. Pick and roll action. Into the wing. Rip and go. And bit of illegal contact there from the offensive player.
Referee deemed that Alani Penise dropped her shoulder and created the contact, so she called a charge.
As we have another look at that on the action replay.
Bit of a tough call from our angle, but the referee had a better angle.
Hey mate, that's why we're up here and they're down there. Again, that early exchange. There's Moru for three, no good. Gets it back though. Oh, great pass. Long two. And that's going to come off the tapa and be St Mary's ball. They've struggled a little bit actually to score this quarter, St Andrews. I don't think they've scored yet in the first 3 minutes.
The defensive intensity from St Mary's has definitely picked up. They just got to be able to try and turn it into points and cut this lead down.
Bad place to pick up the ball. Good steal and a nice, easy Kuruwhiwhi there for Maddie Morrow.
Those corners just over halfway is not a good place to pick up the basketball because you've got a backcourt violation and out of bounds right by you. And then do a better job keeping the ball in the middle of the floor.
Right, let's see what St Mary's can come up with out of this Maka Paitaha. That's a rip and go, kick out. Kuruwhiwhi Toru attempt, in and out. And the Tūrapa for St Andrews. Great extra pass again. And it's almost shooting practice at the moment for Morrow, right?
Yeah, well, he's probably had a good 6 or 7 attempts and only seen one go down, but it's a long tournament. Should rather be missing now than in a direct knockout game. The Hara there, committed by St Mary's College from Wellington.
Were you ever a subscriber of don't use up your makes in practice? Or do you not believe in that?
Yeah. 6 of one, half a dozen other. Sometimes give the players a bit of stick about saving some for the game, but you hope that they are good enough that they can make in practice and the game.
Bainan with the pivot, finds Sharp. Morrow again, and the Koruwhiwhi Toru is good.
That 3-point attempt by Morrow was probably the quickest one she had to take. Maybe the less time she has to think about it, the better chance it's got to go in.
She got the whanoko there as well, and there's going to be a foul committed against Ruby Bainan. And again, St Andrews, there's good chemistry there on the bench. Everyone up and standing and clapping when there's subs. Good to see.
St Andrews actually missing one of their better players, Lauren Whitaker, who tore her ACL at the start of the year. She would have been one of the better bigs at this tournament, so it's a shame that she, after missing it for the last 2 years because of COVID, is going to miss this one as well.
Yeah, I felt gutted for all the athletes in 2020 and 2021 who didn't get to experience a secondary school nationals. As you know, Ryan, it's one of the more special tournaments that's in the calendar.
Yep, 100%. And I was talking to Trent Adam earlier today, and we were talking about the quality of the pool that they were in. So the Plymouth boys, he just said, look, mate, they're just happy to be here after the last 2 years, and knowing that if they didn't take care of business at regionals, then they wouldn't have been here anyway. So they're just happy to be here regardless of how strong their pool is.
Great finish there from Sameulu. Nice little baby hook shot. So St Andrews persisting with a little exchange, but it left Morrow wide open. And a little game of hot potato there, and Doig converts, so it's going to be another timeout there for St Mary's.
Good extra pass off the offensive rebound, again hurting St Mary's.
So St Mary's made some adjustments. A bit more pressure was applied to the ball at the start of that quarter. Now it's gotten away from them a little bit again. What's something else that they could look at doing to try and get themselves back in this game?
If they don't want to get out of a zone, maybe a 1-3-1 or something that's just going to mix them up to give St Andrews a bit of a look. I'm not sure if they have any kind of extended pressure that they could push up the court then fall into a zone, because right now whatever they're doing is not really working for them. So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know what they've practiced at home to be able to put into the court, but yeah, they're going to need to figure something out if they want to chip away at this lead and have a chance to get back into this game.
I always rated the 1-3-1 because I don't feel like anyone ever thinks about creating an offense against it, at least especially at this age group. Maybe when you watch a couple of Tall Blacks games and you saw what Pule Hinata used to run with them, I think they had Rob Lowe up the top of it or in the very middle of it. You could game plan for it, but at this age group it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, 100%. You can get quite creative with 1-3-1s and your type of rotations and who you put in which spots. Darren Larson actually used that when he was coaching New Zealand under-17 boys over in the World Champs in Spain as a change-up. But again, it has to be practice. It's not something you can draw up off the board.
I remember the very first time we ran zone, Ken Coulson drew it up in a timeout, and none of us had any clue what we were doing. He got annoyed. I was like, well, we haven't practiced it. Of course, we didn't say that to him because
You want to stay on the court, right?
yeah, and Ken would have gone off on me, but yeah, hours in the gym as we see another steal for Morrow.
I think overall I'd like to see a lot more man-to-man being played in girls' games. I feel like a zone's a bit of a default sometimes. That to get better at man-to-man, we just got to play it more.
And that's going to be an easy travel call. It's funny, it's like the hard pack defense right at under 13s. Everyone's like, oh, kids can't shoot, so we're just going to pack. And then you go overseas and you play in tournaments and you're playing 13-year-olds who can shoot at a 40% clip, and you're like, okay, well, this principle's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, and every country's got their own style of play. Korea, very aggressive trapping. Chinese Taipei at the junior, the under 18 Asia Cup, they were denying wing passes, so there were big lanes.
Great koru Fifi Toru there for Williams. And here comes Katane for St. Mary's. Nice little on-ball screen there from Kenny. Doesn't use it. And another steal there for St. Andrews. Then they're going to get out and running. And foul there on Sameilu.
Heavy contact, picking up the hara.
As we have another look at it. And defense initiated the contact. Easy call.
One thing I'd like to see I keep calling them Mount St. Mary's. It's a school.
You're thinking of the college, right?
Yeah, in LA called Mount St. Anyway, St. Mary's from Wellington, running a lot of ball screens. St. Andrews is slipping them, so maybe, they're switching them, so St. Mary's could slip them a little bit earlier than what they're doing, or even set some ghost screens to see if they can create some confusion on the defense.
As we're going to see a sub for St. Andrews, and Ophelia Powell is back in the game for Alice Sharp. Been actually quite impressive her as well early on in this game. She looked good.
Yeah, I watched the game earlier today and I made a little note about her. She's got a nice looking shot. So maybe it's junior age group potential call-ups.
Great ball movement there. Morrow. No good on the Korufifi Toru. And the Turapa is going to go St. Mary's way. There is Katane, little floater attempt.
Off the backboard.
Beautifully done off the Papamuri. And a little bright spark there for St. Mary's. It's interesting because if you look at the 2-3, they're using it a lot to try and front the post action, but given how much St. Andrews is rotating around the three-point line, as we see another Korufifi Toru for Morrow, they could almost give that up.
Yeah. Force them. They want to get the ball to Morrow or Williams on the outside, and they're the best decision makers. So if they can force the ball to someone else who's not normally in that role, make them a little bit uncomfortable.
Nice kudu whakao there for Talia Samuelu. Much better second quarter though for St. Mary's. As Morrow again with the open Korufifi Toru. And if she wants to bump her way up the top scorer list at this tournament,
it's going to help. I think that's her third of the game.
I'm always a fan as well of the coach doing the defensive slides with the team. I don't know if you saw that in the background.
Coach Morgan is one of the more animated coaches I've seen today.
I remember I was watching a college game, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been UConn 2 years ago. And the coach was literally sliding the entire half court, every possession. It was brilliant to watch.
Coaches are going to get their workout in as well. I was talking to Coach Morgan before the game. He's a former college athlete in the United States, but as a wide receiver for Utah State. Football player.
That is out the gate, because Sam Watkins, who commentated the last game, as we see a lovely little and one opportunity for St. Mary's, actually plays flag football himself. So to have a player who played Division 1, right? Is Utah
Division
State?
1.
As a wide receiver, that's epic. I love cross-code athletics.
Yeah, by all accounts, he was an athlete back in his prime time, old Coach Morgan.
And it still looks like it. Here come Stack. Just under a minute to play in the second quarter of this girls' AA Pool A matchup. Morrow with the tough skip pass. And it ends up in the hands of St. Mary's. still with St. Mary's. A little Hail Mary for them. And great finish there from Alani Panesi. It's frenetic.
It is. I was just about to credit St. Andrews, who have really been patient and not forced a lot of things until that possession when they turned it over.
Great post catch. Oh, lovely find into Rafferty Powell.
That's some pretty basketball.
Anytime you can reward cutters, it is a beautiful thing, as St. Mary's are going to have 7.2 seconds left on the clock.
I think there's four passes in that position and the ball didn't touch the ground in the layup. So it's always good to see.
It's like any time you see those Klay Thompson stats, or those 60-point games where it's like 11 dribbles. It's like, okay.
Yep.
That is good offense.
Something important for the kids to understand, that you don't need to be good at dribbling, but if you can get your shot off, there's a spot for you on a team somewhere.
If you can shoot, if you can catch, and if you can cut. And defend, of course. To end the quarter, and so that's going to be half-time here in girls AA action. St. Andrews 47 up over St. Mary's of Wellington 21. We're going to have a quick commercial break and we'll come back with the second half.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
This isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
Here from the Tall Ferns. We're out here in Flaxmere Park in Hawke's Bay. We've just opened up this new basketball court for hoops and parks. It's really cool to provide the tamariki with somewhere to go, somewhere to be physically active, play a bit of basketball with their friends. Good asset to the community, especially for those young ones who want to get amongst basketball. So yeah, it's really cool to see us open this new facility in this park that is just beautiful in Hawke's Bay.
Kia ora, Pierre Cameron here. Just want to talk a little bit about the Hoops in Parks and the Hoops in Schools program. It's been amazing. The return on investment is priceless. The accessibility for all the kids and the tamariki to get in here and enjoy themselves, especially through these trying times, been amazing. And just to get outside, you know, it's pretty awesome walking outside and seeing this kind of ballpark available. It's great, especially in these times.
Kia ora whanau, Peliri Oli here, Councillor for Flaxmere Ward, Hastings District Council. I'm here to support the initiative today, Hoops and Parks. Very, very amazing result, and it's encouraging our people to come and spend time here, and especially together with the youth. I encourage other councils to jump on board. Yeah.
Kia ora, wāre Stiatu. Really enjoyed it here at the Flaxmere Courts. And looking forward to play again.
We've been waiting for the courts to open for a while now. Now that they're up, I'm glad that they're here for an activity after school. And yeah.
I like that the courts are purple.
What I like about the court is that it's different to many other courts in Flaxmere.
I like these courts because they're in a good position from if you want to go to the park or come here. And I like it because it's easy to bounce the ball and take easy shots.
My name's Ricky Lee. Shout out to everyone that made these courts happen, and yeah, me Naz.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
Welcome back here to Fly Palmy Arena. And just want to take a quick moment here to thank our sponsors, our host association, Basketball Manawatu, the venue, the beautiful Central Energy Trust Arena. Ryan Doubledown, I wish we had this in other places across the country. It's what makes Palmy so special, I guess, though, is having about 11 courts all packed in together.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing for Palmerston North is that we can have a number of courts going. We're in a relatively central location, and we do have, especially this Fly Palmy venue, where we can seat a few thousand people in for the finals, which will be muchly anticipated after a couple of years off later in the week.
It's kind of awesome. I know you can't really get the vibe when you're watching the show court, but when you get into the hub of it, when you've got about 8 courts around you all buzzing around, it's pretty special.
Yeah, there's a lot of whistles and a lot of noise going on there, so you've got to be prepared to immerse yourself in it to get the full feel of what a national tournament is, because there are a number of teams over the 4 divisions here.
Also want to thank our other sponsors, Moulton, Bailey's, almost got talked into buying a house earlier on today, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex, and Apollo Projects, and of course, our good friends MyFM and Glory League. Ryan, if we had Glory League when we were at school, how much easier would life have been?
Oh, mate, we wouldn't get any classwork done. And sometimes you walk into some of the senior classes where they have devices and they're not actually doing their work, they're just looking at their highlight tapes from the night before. It does make scouting as a coach, from a coaching perspective, a little bit easier to access your own game film to help your team get better, or other teams' film to get it onto your computer and develop a game plan.
I remember working with them on adding all the additional features about rebounds and stuff like that, and I'm so glad they did it, because it's just made it. If you don't have access to Huddle or Synergy. Did you use Synergy when you were in Hawaii?
Yes, I did. It was amazing.
It's the greatest thing ever created.
Amazing. It made scouting so easy. You could just pull up the last 200 clips of half court on whoever you're scouting and find the trends, and a lot more efficient than what it was back in the day of the 102 Jets.
I was doing some video work under Aaron Young, and he's got a Synergy account, and to help create his offense, he just downloaded the entire San Antonio Spurs offense from a whole season, and just went about clipping that. I was like, mate, you're playing a whole different ball game to the rest of us.
Yeah. By all accounts, it's not very cheap, so
no.
Good on him for finding a way and utilising that database.
Kids, please ask the bill payer first. Here is Katanet, little handoff with Leota.
We got the switch, looking for the post up. Nice.
Lovely finish there from Kristana Leota. I guess that's something that St Andrews, if they want to work on the rest of the game, is maybe some different pick and roll coverages. They seem to be going under a lot of things.
Yeah, that last possession, Mount St Mary's got the advantage with the slow roll into the post. Find the mismatch.
Little handoff, turns the corner, and that is a beautiful Maka Tupana there from Maddie Morrow, leading to the easy kuri whakao.
Nice skip pass, an open 3, unfortunately didn't go in.
The Korofifi Toto just off the left rim. Here comes St Andrews again. And stripped, so we're going to see a Maka Paitana for St Andrews. Let's see if they come up with anything different. Same play, it's going to go up the top, and you're going to have the back screen. And there's the easy shot. And an easy Korofifi Toru for Maddie Morrow. She is just lighting it up now in this game.
Doing what she does best, shoot the 3. A little bit of extended pressure here from St Andrews, so trying something different.
I like it, but that was where the gap was under the hoop. Foul is called, and one. Good ball movement there from St Mary's.
Yeah, they got the ball away from the trap quickly, which led to the open player under the basket and made St Andrews play.
Going for a 3-pointer the old-fashioned way.
St Andrews forgetting that it's only one shot and having no one there to rebound.
And they paid the ultimate price there as a lovely putback.
That's not going to please Coach Morgan.
Anytime there's an offensive tūrapa with a Coach Ateria here out. And Ryan, that's why I've got none left, because I was terrible at coaching boxing out. Here come St Andrews once again. Draw, pass, and finish there for Alice Sharp.
Maddie Morrow started off this quarter really well. A couple of nice assists and a made 3 earlier.
seeing a super animated Adam Morgan at the moment. Enjoying what his wahine are doing out on the basketball court. Pushing this lead to 29.
Again, looking to trap sort of first dribble over halfway. Again, going to the post up, they double it and kick out. Good box out.
Well, Adam Morgan might be back from Utah State, but I tell you what, he's not lost the accent. It's pretty crisp and clear who that's coming from.
Open three, Mount St. Mary's. Now St. Mary's from Wellington giving St. Andrews a bit of their own medicine, crashing the O boards. There's 2 in a row there that lead to a nice little layup.
Great finish there from Kristana Leota. Good little hook shot. Nice little rub screen though, but can't leave the ball open. And the tūrapa leading to the easy kudu whakao for St. Andrews. And great steal there, good hands from Charlotte Seddon.
Yes, game certainly with the pressure from St. Andrews, it's opened it up significantly compared to the first half.
No good on the kudu whakao attempt. 2-on-1, and the beautiful Maka Tupana doesn't lead to anything, and away comes St. Andrews. And maybe a tactical decision there not to press the fast break.
It's a leadership there by Karedi Atua.
And it stepped out of bounds, did Angelique Doig.
Time out by St. Mary's.
So what do you think you're talking about here, Ryan? Is it just a better way to counter that little half-court trap that St. Andrews has put in?
Yeah, probably reinforcing that they're doing a really good job on the offensive glass at the moment, and then talking about, hey, if we know they're going to trap just over halfway, let's make sure we've got a couple of outlets and we punish them for trapping so they have to drop out of it. But they've certainly done a really good job on the glass this half to get some points on the board. So we'll see if that continues.
Well, they got quite lucky, as you saw St. Andrews leaving the hoop wide open on those traps. So if they can find a way to get an outlet pass, get a good angle into the end, they could get some wide open laps, which potentially could get them back in this game. Or if it doesn't, and another team later on in the week does it again, then they know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
See some teams playing a little game in the background to warm up.
Probably thought they'll be playing already, but the overtime game before this game has pushed us back a little bit behind schedule.
Referees, though, doing a pretty good job here, actually, to try and get us closer to the time. I wouldn't mind being late. I saw the queue at KFC last night, and not too keen to get involved in that.
Yeah, it's Palmerston North residents don't mind the old dirty bird.
Had some great dumplings. I think the place is called Noodles and Dumplings. You're shaking your head. You're nodding like you know it.
Yep, been there a number of times.
What are the other go-to eateries for you?
If you go down Broadway, there's a number of oriental restaurants that if you just take your pick, and they're all pretty good. If you're after some craft beer, the Brew Union is quite popular. They have some good pizzas here.
We can discuss that on the After Hours broadcast. As 1 for 2 there for St. Mary's.
Another overall by St. Mary's.
Samaelu gets their own rebound. Let's see what they can come up with. Fakes the spin off glass, but the rim is not kind to her.
Mount St. Mary's a little bit unlucky there if it had been tipped off one of their players.
So here is Maddie Morrow. Great cut. They just need that secondary cutter, don't they, off that catch. If they can get that, then they're going to get a lot of baskets. Not just in this game, but as well moving forward throughout the tournament.
St. Andrews have seemed to, the first quarter they had the base runner, second quarter they had the cross action, and now they've got the little rub screen after a wing pass, so that getting through their set quite well.
It's an interesting thing, right? Because as a coach, how much do you want to work on and how much do you want to show your opponents that you can do?
I'm a believer of that. We want the repetitions. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'd rather, like so many times you know what the team's going to do, it's still really difficult to stop it. So let's get reps up so that when we're playing in the tough games, we're ready to go, regardless of if the other team knows what you're doing.
Great steal there for St Andrews, and away they come on the slow break this time.
Maddie Morrow showing some leadership, slowing it down.
Oh, nearly a beautiful mucker.
The right idea there, the right idea.
Well, the thing, right, you're trying to coach decision making, not always execution. If they make the right decision, then you can refine it from there.
Exactly.
As that's tipped, and that's going to stay St Andrews ball.
Subs in for both teams. The Powell sisters from St Andrews.
Right, back underway here in Fly Palmy Arena. St Andrews with a pretty comfortable lead here over St Mary's, as Morrow again with the Korofifi Toto leaves that one short. And the Tirapa, as we have a little steal, and almost could have been jump ball, but sometimes you've got to reward the referees for keeping the whistle in the pocket.
Let the girls play.
Oh, great pass there.
Yeah.
Little Maka Periperi.
Really good response, really quick response from St Mary's. The uncontested layup.
So Ryan, coming back to your time at the University of Hawaii, being an assistant coach for their women's team, Division 1. For athletes that are listening, or families that are listening, what are some of the core skills or things that they need to make sure that they can do to put themselves in a position to get over for a college scholarship?
I think the first one, you got to be coachable. You got to be able to take on constructive criticism and be willing to change. And then depending on what your physical attributes are, some people are 3-and-D, other point guards. Being a physical rebounder, regardless of your position, if you can do that, then someone's going to look at you, give you a chance.
I always found it really interesting, you brought up the coachability, and I love that. But for athletes who coaches might not get over here to watch them play, how can they reflect their coachability on game film?
Yeah, that's a tough one, showing it on game film. If perhaps they might have full games that they can upload to the internet and talk about the changes to the college coaches, but that will come word of mouth. Like a college coach who has any interest in recruiting any athlete, regardless of what part of the world we're in, they're going to get references from parents, from the actual coaches themselves, people outside of rep coaches, New Zealand coaches, whoever it is, so that they're making sure that they know the athlete to the best of their ability before they offer them a free education and 4-year commitment to them.
Started to see a little bit of full court pressure there from St Andrews, dealt with pretty well from St Mary's, and beautiful passing array there for the easy Kudu Fakau.
Yeah, St Mary's broke that pretty easily for an uncontested layup.
Maybe that's why St Andrews hadn't been applying the pressure, because they knew St Mary's would get around that. As lovely little floato there from Morrow. She's really unleashing the bag this afternoon.
Yeah, she certainly looks like she's come on from the trip to India and really expanded her game and playing with a lot of confidence.
As we have another look at that steal and bounce pass. Couldn't convert. I think that's always the awesome thing, is athletes, they get to experience those opportunities. When they come back, you can just see that they're playing at a completely different level to everyone else, and they see things on a different level.
And we actually have a number of these athletes in both genders at this tournament who have played recently at the Under-17 World Cup, where both men and women qualified, and then a few of the younger Under-18 girls are still at school. They're here competing this week, which is awesome to see.
Great tūrapa there from Morrow. Tries to get another one, but that tūrapa is going to go.
Coach Morgan, animated with the effort from Kavana Leen.
Almost feels like he's making his way into our mic that you can hear him from. But no, it's great. It's always good as an athlete or even an assistant coach to see your head coach that animated, that into the athletes, wanting to see them succeed, loving the extra effort plays. It really just rubs off on the whole team.
Yeah, the effort plays at tournaments like these, another one from the same player. Everyone's excited. The effort plays is what gets you those close wins when it comes down to crunch time.
And it just makes it a bit easier for everyone, right? If everyone's suddenly animated, then you're not trying to build the energy yourself. You're just building off everyone else's energy.
Yeah, exactly. You want to keep that bench energy at a consistent level, regardless of how well you're playing. And St Andrews have done a good job this game, hyping up the effort plays, the charges taken, the jump ball forced, the offensive rebounds.
Here comes Rafferty Powell for St Andrews. Wide open shot there for Ruby Bainan. Gets her own tūrapa.
The Euro step by Ophelia Powell, drawing the contact and earning herself 2 trips to the free throw line.
Well, it's always good to see players have the confidence to start adding those things in, and not just trying it in practice, but then having the confidence to put it in a game situation.
Yeah, credit to Coach Morgan here. All the girls, regardless of if they started or coming off the bench, are certainly not shy to make plays when they needed to, which must be empowering for the girls playing under Coach Morgan.
Just a close up there of Coach Morgan, one of the bald brethren. Mate, no one was more excited than me and my mates when Sam Dempster got Most Improved Player. It was a great day for the community.
He certainly deserved it as well. Man, he played well this season. I remember back when I was at high school watching him play for Nayland in this gym.
The man can play because he's always a role player, and then just, I don't know what happened this year, what Fitch managed to get out of him, but he just turned into an absolute star, and credit to him, got a Tall Blacks call up.
3 quality imports, open up some space, and then he showed everyone that he can shoot that 3 ball.
Right, let's see what St Andrews come up with in their potentially last possession of this quarter, number 3. Little floater action, no good. Tūrapa goes to St Mary's, kick ahead pass. And it's going to be St Andrews. Will bounce pass, jump shot. And a beautiful pakete for St Andrews to finish off the quarter, number 3, up 67-34. Ryan Dabbledum, what impressed you the most in that quarter?
I like that St Andrews were experimenting with some extended pressure. It got loose for a bit, and then some of the more experienced players from St Andrews slowed it down, made sure they get through their sets. So that was the most impressive for me. I liked it in that last position there on their baseline runner play. St Mary's was starting to deny that reversal pass, which is going to have to change things up for St Mary's.
That's cool. It's always fun, though, that little chess match between coaches of, okay, you've given me this, I'm going to take that away. Then it opens up something else that they've got to unlock as we have another look at that bucket from the end of the quarter.
Nothing but net.
And how hyped is the bench? That's the best thing.
Ruby Bainan. Everyone's loving it. For St Mary's, look, it's going to be tough to probably claw back this lead, but what can they work on now that's going to help them tomorrow?
I think the biggest thing is going to be ball security. The less times that you can give the other, I know it's pretty basic stuff, but the less times you can give the opposition second chance opportunities, the easier it's going to be, and then you're not having to chase 80s and 90s. If you can keep games, especially in ball play, in the 60s and 70s, I think that's a pretty good sign that you're doing well, A, defensively, and secondly, that you're taking care of the ball because you're not giving up simple opportunities. It's
a possession game, right? You want to have a net gain in turnovers and a net gain in offensive rebounds. And ideally you're good at both categories. If not, can you be way better at one of them than the other so that one team's not getting 10, 20, 30 more shots than what you get.
And I think St Mary's are going to have games in which they're far more in. I mean, St Andrews for me have been pretty impressive, as you said before. St Peter's out of Cambridge, always the gold standard. They're on another level. St Andrews seem to be there or thereabouts. So St Mary's, once they find those teams that they're a bit more aligned with, they're going to have some good games.
St Mary's had Rangi Orders lead down to about 6 or 7 with probably like 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter today. So they played a really good game this morning. Unfortunately fell in the end, but certainly they'll have opportunities in their pool to pick up a couple of wins and make it into perhaps a middle bracket.
So it's a cool thing about these tournaments, right? You can have games as a failure power with the Korowhiwhi Toru. That might be a bit of a blowout like this one, but once you get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every game just gets tighter and tighter and tighter.
Energy levels start to play. Hopefully health is not an issue for teams. But yeah, 6 days for a basketball tournament is a long time when you're playing multiple games a day.
Beautiful finish there from Taira Onesemo. You almost wonder sometimes, right? Do you try and build in like a rest day? Or do you cut the pools down and have 20 teams instead of 24?
I'd almost go further and have 16.
Ooh.
It puts a lot more emphasis on regionals, and then ideally you have less games where the margin is big like this and more meaningful basketball for our top athletes.
I'm going to get a shake of the head as I look at Catherine Jallis in the BBNZ office, but I would love for there to be more ranking and power based on the regional leagues. So say if you're playing in the Wellington League over the year, there has to be a bit more importance on that leads into these tournaments. It's not just that 1 week at regionals that can determine your seeding, or last year's year that determines your seeding. I don't know how you'd figure that out, and it's probably an impossible ask.
Well, I know for qualifying for reps, there's smaller regions, so maybe it's something like that, where for the central region there's a school from Hawke's Bay goes, a school from Manawatu, a school from Tauraki, a couple from Wellington, a couple from 3 from Auckland, 2 from Hamilton. Perhaps that's something they look at. The more meaningful basketball we can get for our athletes, the better. And there's always going to be a chance to play. Like in that tournament week, there's those. You got junior regionals, you got the cups for the second teams of the school, so everyone gets a chance to play in a tournament.
I got another question for you, because obviously you've coached at different levels. What are your thoughts on, because professionals play 4x10, right, in FIBA?
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on age group stuff being, say, 4x8 instead of 4x10?
We play here in the Manawatu 4x8 for juniors, and it feels like it goes too fast. That if you've got 12 in your squad, it's hard enough to get all 12 players meaningful minutes. So when we drop it to 8, it's even harder. I would be against that change for senior high schoolers dropping to 4x8.
Here comes Lynette for St Andrews. Good ball rotation once again. That's been such a highlight of their team. Great cut. Beautiful finish there from Kareratua Williams.
Showing all her experience there as everyone looked at the ball and she cut back door wide open. And then straight into an aggressive extended defence. Although some nice passing from St Mary's to get the wide open layup.
Beautiful finish there from Talia Samuelu. It's been a real highlight for me so far in this tournament. It hasn't been so much the one-on-one play that's gotten baskets, it's been the team play, the passing and cutting. I remember I had a conversation with Kevin Braswell and I asked him, I said, if you're just fitter than your opponent, how many extra points do you reckon you could score a game? And he reckons 8 points a game. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. 1 basket a quarter.
Which, in the close game, 8 points is a lot. Yeah, the team play is like, I get asked quite often which team I support in the NBA, and growing up I had a team, but it's who plays the nicest style to watch. And Golden State's good, but they're fun to watch because they move the ball so well.
I've gotten a lot of arguments with mates, more casual fans who are more of the fan kind of base will support a certain team. I'm like, well, I just want to watch good basketball. I'm not. If the team I have a team I support, but if they lose and the other team plays better basketball, I'm not going to be upset over it.
Yeah. 100%.
English football, it's a slightly different kettle of fish. It can ruin my Sunday morning, but.
Who's your team in the EPL?
I support Leeds United.
Leeds, okay.
What about yourself?
I don't really have a team, but I don't mind going to a football game.
It's just the atmosphere. That's what I love so much about it.
I've been to a lot of professional sports around the world, and the best atmosphere I went to was a group game Champions League.
Ooh.
Club Brugge was at home to Atletico Madrid.
How on earth did you end up at a Club Brugge versus Atletico Madrid game?
Well, as you can tell, my last name's not that common, so I've got some Dutch heritage, and we're down the south of Holland, and we just drove over the border and got some tickets, and it was amazing. I think it might have been a 0-0 draw as well, and it was just like people lighting flares and the best atmosphere.
I was going to ask you about the flares. I was watching some Turkish EuroLeague basketball and they were lighting flares inside, and I was like, you guys are absolutely bonkers. But
yeah, this was outside, so it was a bit different, but
a bit safer.
And I've been fortunate enough to be Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, college football, and that Champions League game was the best.
I don't know who went to Penn State, and the college football games, 100,000 people in a stadium, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, the Americans support their sport at another level to a lot of places around the world. 76-42 with 5 minutes to go in this game.
St Mary's there looking for a nice little high post action. Here's Leota. Great little step through. Tried to go off glass. Gets her own rebound back up and in. And love to see those second effort plays.
The best person who knows if it's going to miss is the shooter, so really good to see her crash a glass as soon as she got it up and got rewarded.
I got an argument with Jet Thompson once because I scored the winning basket off a bank three, and apparently the rule is if you don't call bank three on a game winner, it doesn't count. So we ended up in about a 45-minute argument over it.
What was the result? Still got the win?
Still got the win, thankfully. I got the win, but it was like, if it ever happens again, it doesn't count.
Oh, nice pass by Maddie Morrow. Extra pass by Kavana Lean, and Karediatu Williams gets the layup right on the buzzer.
That is perfect execution of the 24-second shot clock. As we're going to see a timeout taken here by St Mary's. I was listening to a podcast, and Steve Kerr was talking about there was an assistant coach taking their summer league team, and he started giving them a countdown at 7 seconds, and he just ripped into him. He's like, if you're telling me them at 7 seconds, that's still 7 whole seconds to create an advantage or anything. So instead of you know, restricting them. Just let them play it out, and if they figure it out, they'll figure it out.
Especially at that level where the players are there because they can create. I've heard a few things about how Steve Kerr keeps it fresh, and he gives a lot of power to his assistant coaches to do things at practice or do things in games, letting them coach summer league. It wouldn't surprise me if an assistant was coaching the games in Japan the other night.
Well, I found it really surprising seeing people being critical. I remember it was Andre Iguodala took a timeout and took the clipboard and drew up the play. And we're like, oh, well, that's taking power away from the coach and the players trying to take too much control. But I can feel the complete opposite. I think if you've got players that are smart enough to draw that stuff up, I mean, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, and the key is smart enough. Like Andre Iguodala is a smart basketball player. Draymond Green's a smart basketball player. There's others around the league that have that kind of acumen where they can draw up something off the board and have their teammates' attention where it's a worthwhile practice for the team.
Do you ever do that in training sessions where you get players to come up with something themselves?
Yeah, but it never works because they don't know, they can't. They're like, let's do this and that and that, and it's like, mate.
Trying to get through about 7 actions in
Yeah.
24 seconds. Great drive and finish there.
Straight down the lane, no one's stepping up for St Andrews.
Tara Onesemo. As we said before, there's bright sparks there for St Mary's, and there's a lot to like. It's just refining a few other things and coming up as well against Maddie Morrow. Not one of the easier assignments.
Not especially when she's paired with Kari Riatu and they've got 2 shooters and 2 ball handlers. But St Mary's have 48 points with some time to go. You know, take away a few of those O boards and make a couple of shots they took, then you're getting around that magic 60-point mark you're talking about before.
Beautiful drive and finish there from Kavana Lene.
It's a tough finish.
I don't care what level it is. If you can do that, that is impressive. Oh, big block as well there on the other end.
She's got great length, Kavana Lene.
Here is Maddie Morrow.
Nice skip pass.
No good on the Korowhiwhi Toru attempt there from Lene. It could have been the hat trick, the tough finish, the block, and then the 3-pointer on the other end. Oh, great pass and cut. But it was going to get tipped and back into the extremely safe hands of Maddie Morrow.
This might be your last position. Looking at the bench, there's 5 ready to sub in.
I was going to ask that question, how long do you leave starting players in? As good steal there from Tyra Onesimo to Brooklyn Jacobs, and that's going to stay St Mary's ball. We're going to have a few substitutions, all 5 players for St Andrews College coming out of the game.
Job well done by these 5 girls to play the way they've played today, and a largely controlled game by them. Nice post up.
Leota, oh, beautiful kudu whakao there from Kristana Leota.
Great ducking off the inbounds pass and got the easy drop step.
And they're back into the exchange, but bringing the weak side high post from the low block.
For St Andrews on the exchange, I'd like that flashing post just to hold fractionally longer to draw out that top of their zone before she flashed into the space. Maybe something that Coach Morgan will talk about tonight.
Nice little close up there of our sideline cameraman, getting us all those great shots. Pretty easy to tell which team he supports in the Tauahi League. The championship winning Queens.
Ophelia missed the layup and her sister Rafferty follows in for the easy basket.
Nice little try, oh, good step through. Here comes St Mary's
nice
advantage. advantage not taken. And here comes Rafferty Powell. Again, good movement onto the wing. Here's that exchange.
Hard luck there. St. Mary's had a foot on the line when she touched the basketball. Christina Leota.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Always a fun time to see what is decided here.
Got time for 3 dribbles. Gets it up in time and hits the rim.
Everyone just kind of stopped there, didn't they? But then the tūrapa went the way of St. Mary's. And beautiful kudu for Cal for St. Mary's. So ending on a positive note.
Yeah, I've liked the way they've played. It's certainly in the second half. They've been a bit more aggressive defensively. They've done a better job on the boards, and they've crashed their own boards for some second chance points.
Jump shot, no good. Tūrapa there for St. Mary's. And they're going to push. Tip ball though, and a steal. And St. Andrew's going to do the gamesmanship thing, hold the ball.
Dribble it out. Here's the question. When points differential counts in tournaments, do you go for this last 2-pointer, or you just dribble it out and get the good karma?
If it's a team I might come into that tiebreaker with, keep going. If it's a team that I don't think I'm going to end up in a tiebreaker with, then I would hold it up.
Yeah, I would hope that in whatever situation that just dribble it out and everything should take care of itself. But yeah, it's an interesting thing in tournaments where you normally got that good sportsmanship going on, but perhaps you need those points and the points differentials.
Well, it's something that's changed, right? I feel like the old school mentality was always gamesmanship, but now teams have got burnt a few times by those tiebreakers, so they've changed it up. Right, that's full time here at Fly Palmy Arena. St. Andrews College of Christchurch 82, St. Mary's College of Wellington 52 for Andrew Horrocks alongside Ryan Dabbledum. That is us done and dusted. We'll be back shortly with some girls single A action.
This isn't an ad about four-wheel drives. It's about knowing the place, as well as the locals.
You found the place. That's a good start. Built by my great-grandfather 20 years ago.
One of our biggest problems we have in New Zealand is our lack of facilities, the lack of ability for kids to be able to just go in and shoot hoops. With our Hoops in Schools, Hoops in Parks project, it enables kids to be able to get out there and just have a go, you know, just be able to shoot hoops and have no boundaries, just go out there, have some fun. By not being able to get inside to a lot of facilities, this solves a lot of our problems. We're seeing the hoops that we've already installed just be so well utilised. Every time you drive past a school that's got these hoops in it, there's always kids using them. We know it's going to increase participation in our sport, which is a great thing.
Yeah, Hoops in Schools means to me just a lot of opportunity that when I look back and reflect on my experience at home in Portland, Whangarei, and in the schools, and there wasn't a lot of hoops around, but there was the odd hoop, and we'd always meet there, all the locals, and would have a ball, have fun, and that was a game for all athletes that played all different sports.
It's fantastic to see the ongoing growth of the Hoops in Schools program across the country as we continue to go into different regions. Seeing tamariki and rangatahi continuing to have fun through better accessibility is just priceless. And the true value for us is seeing the positive impact it's having across communities here in New Zealand.
It's been absolutely fantastic. We've been able to put 24 hoops into 12 schools right across the province. They were installed a month or so ago, and already we've seen the impact that it's had with kids getting out in there and playing them outside of school hours and the weekends. It's really had a huge impact on the game.
It was good to get into the community today and see the kids just having fun and being able to, you know, have access to these amazing hoops that have been put into new communities, because a lot of schools don't have access to these things.
Now, looking at this initiative of putting a lot more hoops in schools is amazing. I've been to 3 or 4 schools today and just seeing the faces of this young tamariki has been awesome. And you know, it makes you think about where we're headed and where we've been, and you know, it brings a smile to my face too.
Want to catch a fuel bargain with Caltex and Supergold? Scan your Caltex app, Flybys or Airpoints for 6 cents off per litre with Pumped. And show your Supergold card for an extra 2 cents off. Ah, feels good. Want to catch a fuel bargain with Caltex and Supergold? Scan your Caltex app, Flybys.